Greetings from Mobility Outlook and welcome to Women in Mobility. Our guest for today is Ms. Sheetal Chawla Jain, Head Digital Strategy, Tata Motors. Sheetal's decade-long journey at Tata Motors has centered around driving digital transformation across the CV business, with stints across India, UK and Southeast Asia. Not only this, Sheetal has also set up her own digital business, Localjini. In her current role, she is responsible for defining and driving digital strategies, identifying new revenue streams for Tata Motors. One of her marquee projects at Tata Motors was to build and test fleet exchange operating model as an offering on the company's connected vehicles fleet owner engagement platform. Sheetal, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Murli. Happy to be here.
Okay, how are you today?
Very well. How are you? How was your flight in?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. So, wanted to ask you, what made you to become an engineer?
Well, I'm from the land of the Tatas, from Tata Nagar. My dad worked for the Tata Group, and growing up, I saw a town full of engineers. I went to a Sacred Heart, a convent school, Sacred Heart Convent, and it was an all-girls school. And we were brought up like this bunch of future women leaders, very assertive. And growing up, taking up all those leadership positions in school, I felt like I would actually naturally blend into politics, as a field. However, I lost my father very young, and my mother really wanted to have that Tata job back. And engineering was sort of the way to get it. And back then, my aspirations were set to really come back to Jamshedpur and work for Tata Steel. That is where my father used to work. So it was essentially to, sort of fill in my mother's dreams. And also, I had a natural knack for problem solving, math and science really excited me. And so, medical versus other fields, I felt engineering was for me.
Great. What inspired you to become a leader?
I think we all have it in us to both follow when needed and lead when needed, right? And I was just lucky to have been pushed into situations where I needed to organize around me and take the lead, and it really gave me that nervous energy that I got almost addicted to. And so leading people really gives me, joy. And therefore, I look for situations where leadership is required. I think through my professional experience or my college experience, I've had the opportunity to not just contribute as a team member, but when needed, step up and lead the team as well. And I've enjoyed all such occasions. I wouldn't say that there was a natural choice to become a leader. Of course, I've always led those groups of women, and there's little bit of, I could have gone and become a political leader, and therefore somewhere inside, even that's a driving force.
Oh, great. You have also become an entrepreneur. What drove you to this entrepreneurship?
I think even before I started my own company, I have been entrepreneurial with my career. I have been very mobile, I would say, I think I'm the kind of person who enjoys challenges. Like I said, that I look for that nervous energy, doing something new, learning something new, going places. I'm an explorer, as a person. Back when I was working with Unilever, and I had the opportunity to work in London and work with these new grocery.com startups, these large companies like Tesco, Asda, Sainsbury, who incubated these really startup-like small companies within, which was all the e-commerce play. Back in India, when I came up and I set up e-commerce for Unilever, I ended up working with so many startups in the country, Flipkart, Amazon. These were the big ones, but also Purple, Nykaa, Big Basket back in the day. And I was interacting with those founders day in day out, and it filled me with a lot of energy and inspiration to go set out and do something of my own. And the natural next step was not doing something in FMCG and e-commerce, which I felt many people around were doing. I personally was passionate about education because I felt that my good education has given me the ticket to go all over the world. It has really elevated me in more than one ways, and therefore I wanted to start a company to help
that's the birth of
people
Localjini.
with with their educational needs, and not your traditional ed tech where you prepare for IITs or you prepare for your aims or you learn digital marketing. There was also this whole ecosystem evolving around me, which was gig economy. Companies like Urban Clap had come in. There were a lot of home entrepreneurs, and I felt starting up, I could really build vocational training access for such people, right? And to really become the powerhouse of skill building, do something with even Skill India. And so that was the larger picture why I wanted to start up on my own.
Yeah. From IT to software, what made you to look at Tata Motors, which is manufacturing commercial vehicles per se?
Okay, that has been an interesting transition for me. So post IIT, I worked for a year for a company called DE Shaw, which is a hedge fund in New York, and I worked in their Hyderabad office. And back then, I really wanted to be a techie. And working for a hedge fund, I work with these teams in New York, and I said I want to be in New York and do investment banking, right? And therefore I decided to pursue MBA in the hope that I'll get to New York and I'll do MBA, investment banking. Things didn't work out. I ended up with Accenture Consulting. So I did management consulting for about 4 years, and that kind of threw me into a plethora of problems, new industries, entering boardrooms, knowing about diverse problem statements, solving that 0 to 1 problem in most industries. So that kind of, I think, gave me that energy to be experimental, try to see the inside of more industries, solve more diverse problems, right? So and then I went on to work for Unilever. I handled the Walmart account. I set up e-commerce for them. I started my own company. I again went to Mondelez. I did e-commerce for them as well. And I felt through this all, what I've enjoyed is the novelty of problems. And I've been in the digital space for over 13 years now, and this space has been evolving. It's been so exciting. And when the opportunity came across to think about doing digital in an auto setup, it seemed like a tall challenge, right? Because I was coming from a background of B2C, managing brands online, thinking about operating models which are more D2C, B2C, and therefore, how would I implement or build anything digital inside an auto, which is an extremely complex ecosystem. Very B2B, one would also question the digital maturity, and therefore one would say, what is digital in auto, right? However, the research I did, I found that automobile can be the smartmobile of tomorrow, right? And that kind of really, really excited me. The other piece was my mom's dream, which somewhere had got pushed back, of me going back to work for Tata Group, right? And this presented as an opportunity after a decade plus of doing other things, right? And therefore, I felt that this seems like an obvious next step.
Very interesting, very interesting. Can you share some key moments in your leadership journey?
So I think how my leadership style has personally got set is basis all the exposure and experiences I have had. I think having gone to an IIT and IIM and seen some really intense environments, I became very, very content focused. That I need to have a certain level of know-how, and that know-how needs to be socialized. And then I had the opportunity of both studying abroad as well as working abroad. And when I did that, I was exposed to the kind of diversity I had not seen in the country. India is very diverse culturally. We have many Indias within India. However, when I was working abroad, I got sensitized to, this whole value that diversity brings, how to be sensitive to, in the work environment, how to be sensitive to, the needs of our peers, our leaders. And therefore, embracing diversity has become part of my leadership style. The other piece has been accountability. And appreciating diversity, you learn how to even manage context, to even understand context. So, to value context as much as content. Right. So I think that is matured as I've taken several roles. I wouldn't call all of them were leadership roles, but I did behave like a leader in those roles.
Great.
I took ownership, and I think if I were to recall key moments, I think setting up e-commerce for Unilever was a high point. Starting on my own was another opportunity to learn so much. Right, to really grow so much in that 1 year. So I would recommend that to everyone. Even if you fail at what you're doing, you're building up for future success. Yeah. I advise it for everyone.
That's a stepping stone.
Yes, absolutely.
And what made you to focus more on machine learning and artificial intelligence?
Well, machine learning has been around many years. I still remember back in IIT. We had a course on artificial intelligence, and most of us did not have a vision on how and where it will get applied. It was very academic for most of us, and then as we ended up working, doing MBA, it somewhere got lost in the background, and it's back. It's back with full force, and it has come back in a form where everyone can use it. I say that Gen AI or Chat GPT has become like WhatsApp for business. It is really going to, drive forth the digital transformation agenda that most companies are now undergoing, right? And again, the techie in me, the problem solver in me, is totally excited by the opportunities AI and ML present within Tata Motors. Just the commercial vehicle unit per se, where our trucks and buses and small tempos and tractors drive so much of the GDP of the country, right? Where the need of our customers and their customers is around driving efficiency. How can AI ML really drive our digital touch points to deliver better experiences and deliver on that promise of high performance and efficiency. So I'm really excited about the space.
Okay. Do you see these technologies, ML, AI, giving a lot of opportunities for women?
Absolutely. Women have been a large part of the workforce in many industries, FMCG, banking, IT, and now auto. And AI, ML, I wouldn't say building training models or some such technologies in the future where women can obviously have a seat on the table, but also the applications of AI ML right in use cases across industries. I do see a field which naturally lends to the sort of curiosity, creativity, gut feel, and hard work that women can bring to organizations, right? So no contesting that. I see AI ML as a part of the overall digital landscape, and across companies in digital as orgs, women are increasingly taking up roles.
Okay, great. What are your views on empowering women?
So yes, I mean, I think I see a lot of young women out there, especially in the digital and e-commerce space, who are very young, very ambitious, and are ready to give it all and do it all, right? And I do feel that as someone who has traversed that journey and kind of had an experience of decade plus behind, I could sort of share that journey, my learnings with others, and help them kind of navigate the workspace as they mature in their own professional journeys. right? And they do need support, I feel, because, you know, as Mrs. Nui says, your biological clock is in total conflict with your career clock, right? And that's the stage when many women take a view. They might be really, really high performers, very assertive leaders, very ambitious women. But when it comes to choosing between work and family, I do know of many who take a step back, who take a pause, and some who actually never return. I feel that this group particularly needs to be mentored or empowered to find their way back to work, to be productive again at the workspace. They're already doing a lot on the home front, but at the workspace. And I think that empowerment is necessary to, you know, deliver on our principles of equality and equity. That are both required to make the workplace, you know, an inclusive one. So women empowerment, I think, in whatever capacity I have been able to help, I have played my role.
Do you see, and in addition to what you narrated, do you see some more obstacles that prevent women going to the, you know, top level in any organization?
So yes, life stage requirements is one that we spoke of. Beyond that, if I were to just internalize the problem and think through my own journey, there is also the fear of failure. You know, there are women who are unable to overcome their own insecurities. Right? It is not about fear of rejection or, you know, an event where all goes bad, but it is about, you know, underestimating yourself. Not taking the plunge, not jumping high enough, right? I think it is a fear, an inhibition that sort of holds them back. I do feel that all my male colleagues and you know, my peers from IIT and IIM, they've done so well, started their own companies. They're really, really good at asking for help. They're really good at networking. I see women do that a little lesser. Right, and I feel that might be holding them back.
So networking, socializing is
important, is asking for help. So we all talk about how we need mentors, we need guides and coaches. We don't talk about what we have done to get that. Right? It cannot be handed down. It cannot be, you know, the HR and organizations do their best to facilitate the same. However, we need to win that trust. We need to win that mentorship with our leaders. You know, all the male leaders, company heads, they have daughters that they want to see lead in the future. They have wives who perhaps are working. So for them, it is not, something that is going to be absolutely out of the way to help a woman. Right, but sometimes we need to overcome our own fears and ask for that help.
Absolutely, absolutely. How do you strike a balance between work and life?
So I don't think of them as compartments. That's one. I think one of the big shifts that digital or technology has caused is this end of compartmentalization, and therefore, you know, work-life balance is something I might have kind of tried to pursue when I was working for Accenture, when I was in a consulting environment and extremely long hours and lot of travel. In fact, being away from family for weeks at a stretch, working in other geographies. However, post Accenture, I have consciously made the effort to think about achieving work-life integration and not work-life balance. So companies today provide that flexibility, and more so the Tata Group, I would say, it's known for it. The empathy to know that you could be having some problems at home that need heavy lifting, and understanding that when the work requires your commitment, you are going to come through and perform. Right? So I think that's how I look at it, and I think I took a career break, you know, when I had a child. My daughter is 6 now. Coming back to work after a career break was also a personal agenda. It was not to just go back to my professional self and do well and be known as a woman leader, but also to role model for my daughter. So when I see that personal agenda playing through at work, I don't see it as a switch on, switch off kind of arrangement where I have to choose necessarily between work or life.
Great. What is your advice for the young women aspirants to get into the manufacturing, especially automotive?
Yes, I think the industry is changing. Today you cannot talk about tech without thinking about Elon Musk and Tesla, right? And now with that thought process, if you think about what Tata Motors can do in India, wouldn't you want to work there?
Yeah.
Right? Traditionally, there have been stereotypes and biases playing out. There have been, barriers for women to perform in manufacturing setups. And I see the numbers are around 3-4% women in tech and women in manufacturing, it is as much a problem about the environment at work as it is about the choices and biases that women make. They proactively choose not to take up manufacturing jobs, not to take up field sales jobs, and prefer desk jobs. Growing up, a lot of my aunts said you should take up teaching because it's sustainable. You can have a family, you can teach. You can have both. You cannot have it all, right? But I do feel that women today are increasingly making that choice of getting into tougher environments and living through that challenge. And my advice is to just take the plunge. Just start, and you will be surprised how much comfort and flexibility you can find even in manufacturing setups. The organizations are doing a lot to make their workplace a very inclusive one, and women and diversity in general do benefit companies and organizations in creating value, and therefore they are doing everything they can to embrace diversity. So my advice would be to start, handle your biases and ask for help.
Great. Sheetal, lovely talking to you. Thank you so much for talking to Mobility Outlook and being part of Women in Mobility.
Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting with you.
Same here.